everyone, welcome to our today's video. So in this video we will be discussing about Avro file format. So we'll discuss first what is Avro and why is it so popular, and another next thing we'll discuss about the schema evaluation with the perspective of Avro, and then we'll see some practical things. Okay, now what is Avro? So Avro is a file format, right? Avro is a file format where both data and schema stored all together. Data is in binary format, schema is in JSON format. So let's suppose you have some data in JSON format or in text format, right? And what you do, you provide some schema, right? That this column name, that column name, right? In the JSON format. And then you encode this data, right? You encode this data with the schema which you provided. This data will be stored as a binary, right, along with the schema. So that is an Avro file format. But you might be wondering, right, why do we need such kind of file format where we're storing both of the things? Is it not being, taking much more memory because we're storing two things? So let me tell you, my friends, it is not the case, because binary is, 0 and 1, and it is very compact file. Okay, it is a very compact as compared to others, while JSON is totally text based, right? So that will be having a large size as compared to binary. So that is why Avro is a very, compact file format. It has very less size if you compare with any other thing. Okay, now another question, that why do we need actually this kind of thing? Okay, we got it that it is a compact thing, that is fine, but why do we need all this, right? So in big data processing, right, when we are doing the big data processing, when we are doing big data processing, or in distributed computing, big data processing or distributed computing, where we have cluster, several machines are there, and when we do big data processing, data, exchanges between machines across the cluster. So now data is being exchanged, right? And if you are exchanging the data in some format which is having large size, right, or compact format, like less size one, which one will you prefer? Definitely the compact one. Why? Right, because if I'm exchanging some data across the cluster, definitely I would like to be exchanging very less, because it will be faster. Definitely for me it will be, computation will be faster, right? All those things will matter for me, definitely. So now if this is, that is why, Avro is being highly preferred language, and it is a very popular language. It is highly preferred because it is a compact file format. Okay, now another thing which comes up with the Avro is a schema evaluation. So now you will be asking me, what is schema evaluation first? So schema evaluation is nothing but, let's suppose you have a table, right? You might have seen a CSV file which is comma separated, or XLS file, right? Or if you have worked with some database, right, you might have seen files like Oracle, Vertica, Postgres. So let's suppose we have a couple of columns, right? And then we have several records. So let's suppose my column name is anything like ID, name, right, age, or gender, something like that. Now this data is being stored here, everything, I have the data. Now sometime, some requirement has come up that I want a preferred language to be stored for all these customers. So now I want a different column with the preferred language, right? So what happens now? My schema has to be updated, right? So my schema has to be updated. That means we have to add a new column, right? So we have to add a new column. Adding a new column, we have to update our schema now. So the record which is already there in a table will have a null value because we don't have any value for them, right? So we have to reprocess all of this data, and big data processing, it's reprocessing a whole amount of data is very difficult, right? So now, how with the perspective of Avro, how schema evaluation is working here? With Avro, what happens? Let's suppose you have created with one Avro file external table. Okay, one external table is already created with a particular v1.schema. avsc file. This is a schema file, like extension for the schema file. Okay, now my data has changed and I want preferred language to be stored. So what I will do, I will just create v2.avsc, right? And now what I will do, where my data was there, it was already there in my data directory, right? External table was creating on top of that. Now what I will do, I'll create one more external table on top of this data, but schema will be this one, v2.avsc. Now if you load it, what will happen, you will get wherever the previous data was there, because there we didn't have the preferred language, we will having -1. But when you insert a new record, right, because this you're pointing to some same data, but now you have put it some new records, right? That is why you have put it up a new schema where we are getting the preferred language. Their preferred language will get up populated. So it's very easy. It's nothing like we have to reprocess all of this table drop and recreate. No, nothing. Just need to update our schema file and the evolution of the schema is being handled gracefully, right? Now let's see some practical things. So what we will be doing as part of practical, we will first create Avro file, and then we will try to access the content of Avro. Okay. So let me move to my command prompt. Hope it is visible. Let me zoom it a little bit, right? So in this, what I will do, uh, okay. So I am in a directory, music Avro, where I will show you some file, what I have already stored. So this is my twitter.avsc file. This is schema file, just for an example, right? So it says type is record, okay, name is Twitter schema, that it's I have given, name space is Migno Avro, and then I have some fields, right? So I am specifying that for name, column name is username, that would be of string type, and the tweet is another column where type is string, timestamp is another column where type is long, and this is my dog. That means about, it's a metadata, like what it says actually. What I will be doing here is, I will be converting this JSON data, right? I will be converting this JSON data into a Avro file. Okay, so how will I do this? There is a very simple tool that is easily available. Let me show you. This is Avro tools 1.8.2.jar. So there is a simple command tool. I've already used it, so I'm showing from here that jar, um, jar Avro Java jar. I'm importing this jar Avro tools, and then I'm using from JSON. This is a one command, okay, where I will be specifying my schema file twitter.avsc, and I'm specifying my JSON file twitter.json, and I'm creating twitter underscore one.avro. So let's see. So it says it is created. Let's see in the directory here. Yes, I can see Twitter underscore one.avro. So that means with the JSON file, if I'm providing a AVSC file, that is schema file, I'm able to create an Avro file. Correct? Twitter one.avro. Now if I want to check the content of this file, right, what mostly people do, like in the production data, and they don't know how to open these files, because if you open a notepad, it says some gibberish value. Let me try to open this file in notepad also. Okay, so if I open this, right, if I open this, so this says some gibberish value, right, and doesn't see, I can see some value here, but it is, not good, I would say, not a better way, right, to see this. So I have installed one Python package, right, that is Avro. From Avro, what I am doing here is avro.data file, import data file reader. So I am trying to read a file reader, and then I am trying to do a datum reader, because if you might be, most of the people know this, that data is a plural word and the singular form is datum. So I'll try to read every datum, right, using this datum reader. So what I'm doing is reader, data file reader, and I'm passing this my Avro file which I want to read. So now here I will pass the, just now I created Twitter underscore one.avro. Okay, So this thing will print the schema reader.meta. It will provide me the schema of the file which I have created, this one tutor.avsc file. This will print exactly the same, right? And then I'll see some content of this Avro file, right? So for user in reader, so reader is this, and this user is a dictionary. Okay, so this is being done here. Let me run the program. So it's very easy, I would say, right? What it says, schema of Twitter Avro file is this Avro.schema. If you compare this, exactly the same type record name Twitter schema, type record Twitter schema, name space. So exactly the same field is name, username, type of string, right? So exactly the same name of the user account on the twitter.com. So what we have specified in AVC file, we can see the whole schema here. Okay, now we want to see the content, right? So content is this file. This is also here, right? We can see twitter.json, we spell the two records, works as intended, terrain is MBA, exactly the same. We can see the content of this file. So that means if you have a text file, if you have a JSON file, and you specify the schema, you can convert into an Avro file. And Avro file size is very very less size, and it is very helpful if you're working in big data processing, or let's suppose you're working on Kafka, that is a streaming platform, right? Where you do the real-time processing of the data, you're sending some messages. So rather than sending some JSON data or some other file format, better you send the message in Avro format, right? Because Avro is very compact one, and on top of that, schema is schema is enforced on that. So if you are sending some column, schema have specified age as 24, right? So that means it's a numerical number it is expecting, right? But I have already specified the schema that it should be integer value. So if I send something a different value like 24 as number, this as a text, it will discard this discard this record, right? And it will throw an exception here. That is a different thing, like we have to manage it, that is a catch it, right? But if you are sending this with JSON, it is still a valid record, right? You, because there is no schema, this is schemaless. So in Kafka, while you're working with Kafka and all those technologies, you need to be a little bit cautious about this. So Avro will be a better choice in this, and I hope you enjoyed this video and add some knowledge base.